Today I'm going to show you how I saved a bunch of money building my own rabbit feeders out of scrap metal. Now, when I say rabbit feeders, most people automatically think about this. Now, I've used these for many, many years, as you can tell, but now that it's time to start thinking about replacing them, I decided I want something better. Now, one of my biggest motivators to do this is to have a rabbit feeder that would hold more food. Not just to increase my day-to-day efficiency, but to give me the ability to leave the house for 20 minutes without the rabbits calling asking me to bring back takeout. Because you see, I like to go places and do things, and I wanted a rabbit feeder that I could fill up to at least go take a weekend fishing trip. A quick search on Amazon led me to this style of feeder, but it wasn't as cheap or as big as I wanted it. It was a simple design, however, so I knew I could recreate it using things I had laying around the house. So when inspiration struck at 11:30 that night, I went out to the shop and got to work. And this is what I ended up with. And for all those do-it-yourselfers out there who say, ooh, I'd love to get my hands on a hard copy of those plans, keep watching to the end of this video. I'll show you how to get a free downloadable PDF of your very own. Now, I made these out of some old metal real estate signs that I got out of a storage unit years ago. You can use any kind of sheet metal as long as it's not too thin. If it's too thin, it's going to bend, it'll bulge out with the weight of the food, plus you're going to increase the chance of your rabbit getting injured on it. So I wouldn't use anything like flashing, it's way too thin. So just make sure it's got a little stiffness to it and something that you can grind the edge down smooth so your rabbit won't get cut on it. Now, using recycled materials did predetermine some of my sizes for me, but really these worked out perfectly. So it is 18 inches tall, 9 inches wide, 5 inches deep. This holds approximately 2.5 gallons of food. And that will last a while, at least long enough to catch some fish. I drilled holes in the bottom to let the dust from the pellets escape, and I also left a little crack on this side for the same reason. The faceplate is bent in toward the back and held in place by a rivet on each side, leaving about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of space. This is enough to funnel the food in, but also restrict how much can come out at any given time. You don't want too much food in the tray at one time because the bunnies will scratch it out and waste it. Now, I didn't put lids on these for 2 reasons. First, my new rabbit pens are hanging in my chicken pen, which is covered with a roof. Second, I wanted to be able to fill the feeder from the top of the cage. That way I don't have to open the door every time. Lastly, I drilled a couple of holes in the top and the bottom of the back plate, added a little bit of wire, so now I can attach this to the inside of my pen. So for those of you who are asking how I made it, we're going to go in the shop right now. I'm going to show you what I did step by step. All right, step number 1, get your tools together. Here's what we're going to need. First up, you're going to need some metal shears. You can go with the old-fashioned manual hand shears, but I recommend going with an electric metal shear. This is going to cut through your sheet metal like butter. I consider this a must-have. Next up, you're going to need a drill. And with the drill, you're going to need bits. I'm using a 1/8 bit to go along with my 1/8 rivet. Speaking of rivets, you need rivets. This is a wonderful multi-pack that I ordered. It's got an assortment of rivets and washers, and they're nicely, neatly organized until about 10 minutes ago when I knocked this off the counter and scattered them all over the floor. For this project, I am only using 2 sizes. I am using a 1/8 3/8 rivet, and I am using a 1/8 1/2 inch rivet. This is for the areas that I am riveting together 3 pieces of metal rather than 2. The shorter one I'm using when I'm riveting only 2 pieces of metal. With the rivets, you need a rivet gun. All right, if you don't know how to use this, I'll show you how to use this in just a little bit. Next, tape measure, you need a hammer. Finally, multi-tool. What do we need the multi-tool for? I don't know yet, but we're gonna need it. If you do not have a multi-tool in your pocket at all times, I don't know if I can help you. All right, first thing we are going to do is we are going to measure and cut our sheet metal. These signs are already 18 inches tall, which for me is a perfect height for the rabbit feeder because the minimum recommendation for a rabbit cage is 18 inches tall. So if I build these at 18 inches, it'll fit into any of the rabbit pens that I'm going to build now or in the future. I chose to go 9 inches wide. Why did I go 9 inches wide? Well, because that is what cut out evenly for these signs. You decide however wide you want it. I personally liked how the 9 inches came out. So once my metal is ready to cut, I'm just simply going to take my electric metal shears And I'm going to cut out my pieces. Front panel, back panel. That's all we're doing with this sign. Now I'm going to do my sides. I had these little metal signs that are already cut out to be 6 inches. They worked great. Now, if you're cutting out your own sheet metal, one of these panels for the side is going to be 18 inches, just like your front and your back facing. So you can go ahead and cut that out. The second one, however, is going to be longer, because we are going to be bending it over to also create the bottom. So that's going to be a total of 27 inches. Again, one side 6 inches by 18 inches, the other side 6 inches by 27 inches. Okay, next up with the side is I want to bend a 1/2 inch on each edge to create this lip. This is what we're going to rivet the front and the back plate to. Right, you may have some fancy piece of equipment that's going to do this crease, this bend for you. I do not. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a nail in my workbench and I'm putting that in 5.5 inches from the edge. That way when I lay the metal on it, it leaves me with a 1/2 inch overhang on this edge here. At this point, I'm just going to take my hammer and I'm going to begin going down this side. You do not need to get a great 90-degree angle the first pass. All you want to do is start bending it a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over it again. This is where we're really going to get our good 90-degree. Now we're going to do the second side. If I put it against these same nails, it's even with my bench. So what I have to do is move these nails 1/2 inch closer. So now these are going to be 5 inches from the edge, which again leaves me 1/2 inch hanging over. Then I repeat the process. All right, now we have our piece of metal. We need 2 of these. Let me take just a minute to tell you that if you are working with sheet metal, make sure that you are wearing gloves, because sheet metal can cut you. No, seriously, I'm a bad influence. I'm a bad example. I'm not wearing gloves. I make my own choices. You make your own choices. I'm telling you, you should choose to wear gloves so you don't cut your fingers. Now, I've got my sides cut out. I've got my front and the back face cut out. So now I'm going to place the back panel onto the lip of one of my sides. I'm going to make sure it's in there even, and I'm going to drill a hole. I'm going to do it all at one time so I know that hole lines up. Now I can put my rivet in. Now, since I have that one corner riveted, I'm going to do the same thing to this corner. For those of you who may not know how to rivet stuff together, here is your rivet. It's a nail stuck through a metal sleeve. The head of this nail is going to go into your metal here and into your metal here through that hole we just drilled. So now that is pushed all the way through and sticking out the back. I'm going to take my rivet gun. You can see it's got a hole in the front here. See these other ones here, they're for different size rivets. I'm going to take this rivet gun and I'm going to put it over this post of the nail. Now I'm going to squeeze this handle. As I squeeze, it's pulling the head of that nail back and flaring out that metal sleeve. Once I have done it all the way, the rivet gun cuts off the nail, like so. Now you can throw this away, but if you're going to have any projects where you think you might use some finishing nails, I might as well keep it and use it as a finishing nail. Now, this is the one that is going to be 27 inches long. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to make a cut right here at the bottom of the back plate. If you want to tidy it up a little bit, you can cut a little angle out of it. Multi-tool. Got to straighten that up a little bit where I bent it. Now, I don't want to cut a 45-degree angle out of this because I want it to overlap and I want the rivet to go through both of these pieces. If you're spot welding this, it doesn't matter. You can cut a 45-degree angle in that and make it look just beautiful. Just to make sure I have my measurements right, up here, I am going to hold my top plate in place. I'm going to cut it. Now, this is a good time to drill holes in the bottom to let the dust escape. But I'll wait until later and I'll explain why when we get to that point. Now that I have this piece cut, I'm going to bend it over. And as I'm bending it, I'm going to bend these sides in so that it goes on the outside of my side piece. This is the bottom piece. The bottom I want on the outside of my sides. Alright, so bending this over, I'm going to drill me a hole right here in this bottom corner. I am not going to rivet this yet. First I'm going to drill a hole in this bottom piece, and I'm going to use the hole in the back plate to guide me. Now I have a hole in all three of these pieces where it comes together. So I'm going to take my longer rivet, because I'm going through three pieces of metal. Now that is riveted together. This corner is a little trickier. But what I'm going to do is make sure that these two corners are together. Now I'm going to hold my back piece up to meet these. I'm going to keep my fingers out of the way, and I'm going to drill down through these holes. I don't want to put a lot of pressure. I'm slowly going to drill into that back plate so that I have a hole that lines up all the way through. At this point, I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a rivet here, a rivet here, a rivet here, and a rivet here to add support and to hold this firmly against these side pieces. We're getting somewhere. It's starting to take shape. If you cut this exact to length, you don't have one of these. So what you're going to do is cut out a 2x9 piece of metal. This is going to go here to give you a trough. So for mine, I'm just going to keep this little lip on it. I don't know if I'm going to put a rivet through it or not, but if you want a lip on yours, make sure you measure it 2.5 inches by 9 rather than 2 by 9. It doesn't matter either way, really. Making the front of the trough 2 inches, make sure that it's high enough that the rabbit can't scratch the food out, but it also is low enough that they can comfortably get their head into the food trough. So right now I'm just going to put the front piece right here against that. I'm going to drill my hole through all three pieces. Same thing on this side. I'm putting the side piece inside of the bottom so that I can close this up as tight as I want. And I like to just trim my corners a little bit to take away as much of the sharp edge as I can. I'm going to drill a hole. This is the 1/8 by 3/8 because I'm only going through two pieces of metal. Alright, my top piece is a little different. On my top piece, I'm going to measure down to about 10 inches. And I'm going to line that up with the edge of my workbench. And now, I'm just going to put a bend in this plate. Once I have that bend, I'm going to line it up with the top. And now I'm just going to double check that that bend is lining up where I want. Drill my holes in the top corner, and I'll put in my rivets. Now, I'm going to put a rivet at the top of this bend on each side. Now, for good measure, I'm going to put one more rivet in between these two. Alright, one more thing to do with the rivets before we're done with that. I'm going to put a rivet here and here so the food won't push this top plate out. For these two, I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to use a metal screw that'll stick out, or I'm going to use a long rivet. This is a 1/2 inch, so even though I'm only going through one piece of metal, it'll stick out farther to give me support on that plate. So now you see they're sticking out on the inside, so the food won't push that plate past that point. So last thing we're going to do is put holes in the bottom so that the dust from the pellets can escape. You don't want your rabbits breathing that. You don't want it sitting in the feeder and getting old and moldy. So we want that dust to be able to escape. You can use the same bit you were doing the rivets for. As long as the bit is small enough your pellets aren't going to come out of these holes, you're fine. You can also use wire for the bottom. It's a little more complicated to attach it. I just chose to use the metal. If you use a small wire, you have to remember that it's probably going to rust more frequently, and you'll be replacing that bottom wire. Now the thing about drilling the holes in through the bottom is that it turns the inside into almost like a lemon zester. It's got a bunch of little sharp pieces of metal sticking up in here. So now we're going to have to come back through with a piece of metal and just scrape this inside. Now the reason I chose to do it later rather than earlier is because when you do it earlier, you have to drill down into something, a piece of wood or your workbench. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to waste a piece of wood, and I didn't want holes in my workbench. So I chose to wait until I could turn it up and use the feeder itself to drill straight down into nothing. The only problem with doing that is you have those sharp edges that you've got to deal with. Now the very last thing we're going to do is drill a couple of holes in this back piece. And that is so we can attach it to the inside of our cages. I'm going to come up about 4 inches because that'll match up with some wire in my cage. And then I'm going to come up to about 14 inches. You do it to suit wherever your wire falls on your cage. Now the final thing I do, I take a strong, hard piece of metal and I go over all of the edges to make sure there's nothing sharp to cut my rabbit. It will cut you. Wear gloves. All right, that's it. It's done. Third and final rabbit feeder is complete. So there you go. Now I have a large, heavy-duty rabbit feeder without breaking the bank. Now some of you are going to start arguing with me, and you might already be typing a comment right now before you even finish watching this video. And you're going to say, well, by the time you buy all them tools, you might as well have just bought the rabbit feeders. Well, if you don't have any tools, that's probably true. But I would rather buy the tools now to make the feeders than to buy the feeders and then not have the tools for the next project. See, it may seem cheaper to just go ahead and buy the feeders and not get all the tools, but in the long run, it's cheaper to go ahead and get your tools, make the feeders, and then next time you have to make something, you've got the tools. Now, for those of you who said you did want the downloadable PDF, here's how you get it. Go to the description of this video. There you will find the link for the rabbit feeder plans. Once you click on that, it's going to take you to this page right here. Click on Add to Cart, go through the checkout process, and they're all yours. After you finish downloading plans, if you're feeling generous, click on this Growing Greenways link right here. That'll take you to this page. Once you're there, buy us a coffee or two. Well, I hope that was helpful. If it was, show us some love, like, subscribe, do all the stuff you see at the bottom of the screen, and then make sure you go check out our affiliate links in the description below. If you are so inclined, while you're in the description, you might consider visiting our Buy Me a Coffee link. And once you've done all that, check out this video right here to see what else we're doing on our homestead. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.